Do you ever rent cars or borrow a friend's but don't have your own?
Ever wonder if you would be protected in case of an accident or a claim made against you?
Named non-owner insurance might be right for you.
In this video, we would go over why you may want non-owner insurance.
We'll be going over 7 questions to figure out if non-owner insurance is right for you. What is named non-owner insurance?
Named non-owner insurance is a type of car insurance policy for people without a car. In other words, this insurance will provide liability coverage if you damage another person's property or cause injuries to others while driving someone else's car, whether it's a friend's or a rental. Non-owner auto insurance is a secondary coverage, used to cover the gaps that the borrowed car's insurance policy won't cover. This means if you cause an accident and the car owner's car insurance reaches its limits, the non-owner policy will kick in to cover the rest. A named non-owner policy won't cover damage to the car itself or medical expenses. Those would be covered under a normal auto insurance policy. Who is non-owner insurance a good fit for?
If you rent or borrow cars, non-owner insurance provides critical protection against any injuries or damage you may cause while driving those cars. Whether you rent cars regularly or borrow a friend's vehicle once in a while, a non-owner policy will ensure you won't be stuck with a costly bill if you were to get in an accident. Who is non-owner insurance not a good fit for? Here are some cases where you don't need non-owner insurance. First is that you own your own vehicle. If you own a car, you'll have your own insurance policy for that car. Second is if you live with someone who owns a car or are listed on someone else's policy, you don't need non-owner insurance. However, if you borrow or rent another vehicle, you should get a non-owner policy. The third is if you don't have a driver's license. If you can't drive, there's no need to purchase a policy. The fourth is if you only drive a commercial vehicle. If the vehicle is owned by your employer, the vehicle will be covered under a commercial auto policy. When should I buy named non-owner insurance?
Ideally, you should get a non-owner policy as soon as you start renting or borrowing vehicles. If you are already driving vehicles that you don't own, we would recommend you get a policy right away. Why do I need non-owner insurance?
While non-owner insurance is not legally required, if you rent or borrow cars, you should really have a policy to protect you against expensive claims. If you get into an accident in someone else's car, that person's car insurance will automatically cover injuries and property damage you caused up to the limits on their policy. But anything beyond those limits would be your responsibility. So if you don't have a named non-owner policy, you could be stuck with a large out-of-pocket bill. How much is non-owner insurance?
For a non-owner policy in Massachusetts, the average cost is $700 a year or $58 a month. Since this is a secondary policy, the costs are much less than compared to an auto insurance policy's premium.
How do I buy non-owner insurance?
To write a non-owner policy, insurance carriers require you to bundle coverages. So if you wanted a non-owner policy for a car, you would need to add renters, home, or condo insurance. Non-owner auto insurance only pays out if your limits are greater than those on the primary vehicle owner's policy. So you'll always want to be sure you have enough so the insurance will be there when you need it. How much non-owner insurance do I need?
For named non-owner auto insurance, we typically recommend a minimum of $100,000 bodily injury per person, $300,000 bodily injury per accident, and $100,000 property damage. These are the recommended liability limits in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We will never write coverage below these levels, but can certainly write higher limits if the situation is appropriate to provide added protection. Ready to get insured for the use of a rented or borrowed vehicle?
Click the Get a Quote button at the top of our website. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
The right insurance policies can protect you most, especially when you least expect it.
Getting a non-owner policy is a great way to provide peace of mind if you ever rent or borrow cars.